Hello, good afternoon, LinkedIn Live community. My name is Charles Maddox, and I have my colleague Shakeel Muhammad with us, and we're here to start our Fireside series on Agile Research, the contemporary state of Agile Research. So, Shakeel, going to introduce you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Charles. This is Shakeel Muhammad. I am a colleague of Charles in the PhD program at the University of North Texas, and we'll be sharing some really good stuff today with you.
All right, thanks a lot, Shakeel. So a little bit of background on the Fireside Chat. So as Shakeel mentioned, both he and I are PhD students at the University of North Texas here in Denton, North Texas. And we're in the information science department studying Agile research. Basically, Agile is kind of our topic of research. And we look to have some dissertation and that hopefully in the next year or so. And our backgrounds are in that line of industry. So a little bit of background on myself. I'm a consultant by trade. I'm a software engineer by trade. I haven't touched code in almost over 15 years ago. However, I am in the Agile space of recent, and in the last 10 years, been working with companies as a consultant and trainer in the Agile space. And so it was a topic of interest of mine to take a deeper look into the Agile space in terms of a research area. Another area of interest of mine is to continue to look at quality and the security aspects of software development and product development as a whole in some research topics around that in the DevSecOps space as well. Shakeel, you want to give a little background in your research interests?
Sure. I've been in the IT industry for more than 20 years. I have worked at different Fortune 500 companies across multiple industries. I have successfully delivered business critical and large scale digital transformation programs and projects. I leverage my strong technical background to accelerate solution designing and deployment cycles for integration and automation initiatives. I work heavily with the RPA-based and integration-based programs and projects. As I said, currently I'm a doctoral student in the information science department of the University of North Texas. And my research interests are software development methodologies and in specific Agile methodologies, including Scrum and SAFe. And another topic of my interest is sustainable product development.
All right, great. So one of the topics that Shakeel and I are studying right now, and I don't know, Shakeel, if you want to share any of the information that we're focused on at the moment, but one of our initial research topics is in the effectiveness of Scrum Masters and RTEs in Agile environments. And being that, again, Shakeel and I we've seen many different Scrum teams over the last years and have recent over the last several years as well, more and more so SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework teams that we've worked with. We've been seeing that these two roles are very critical in success, the Agile success, we would say, of programs and how that Agile mindset gets instituted in the company that's trying to go Agile and implement these two roles. And so we're trying to get an idea of how does the company see these roles? What is the specifics around what individuals in the company view as these roles being effective, and kind of what are the key attributes of these roles that constitute effectiveness? So obviously, if these roles are not being set up properly, there's a lot of misalignment, maybe cultural damage, you could say, of Agile in this space if we don't align these roles properly. So it's very critical that we get these roles right, being that they're kind of the standard bearers of Agile at the team level and Agile at the program level within organizations. And so, if this research is providing the information and the insights that we're intending on it providing, it would be good information for a company to digest this and say, well, hey, my company maybe could take advantage of, instituting more of this aspect of a Scrum Master or this aspect of an RTE role. So it could definitely be of benefit, we think, of further research for other researchers researching these topics and the data that we're collecting on this, as well as the companies and the individuals that are taking this survey, when we provide this data and insights, it could help them as well in their space. I'll turn it over to you. Next slide.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Charles. And to add to Charles' points, the motivation for this study is exactly what Charles kind of summarized. We will be using this study to really help companies to find what are the different kind of responsibilities or roles that they should align the Scrum Master and release train engineers based on their competencies within their organization. So it will be very beneficial for the companies to really see the comparison between the academic side of it and the industry practices perspective. So we have tried to bring both together, and upon our research findings, the companies can really see how they can maximize the presence of their Scrum Masters and release train engineers in their programs and projects, and what kind of responsibilities they should be assigning them or stressing upon, making sure that they benefit from their resources effectively. And as I said, the objective of the research is to identify critical skills of the Scrum Masters and release train engineers based on the industry practitioners' feedback. We will be doing the interviews, we'll be doing surveys, and we will then bring both together to see what kind of feedback or inputs we're receiving from the industry practitioners. And there are two kind of research questions that we are trying to get the answers for. The research question number one is, which competencies are essential for an effective Scrum Master or a release train engineer based on the industry practitioners' feedback? And then what are the differences between how practitioners see them and how their companies view the importance of those critical skills of these important roles in Scrum Masters and release train engineers? So from the objective perspective, if you will, these two research questions are the questions that we are trying to get the answers for as part of our research project. Charles?
All right, thanks, Shakeel. And then, by the way, too, this is where Shakeel and I are hoping that this is a little bit interactive. So any questions along the way, please put them in the chat in our live event, and we can answer those questions when we get to that portion of the Q&A portion of this presentation here. So we are full-fledged into this research. Shakeel and I, we've been working on this now for, I'd say, a little less than a year, but we've had a conference presentation already on this. We've collected a lot of literature and academic literature, some industry literature as well to analyze. And from that literature, scholarly and industry, we built a conceptual research model that we're using that created our survey design, and also that's going to feed into our interview questions as well. So we've also created a research plan and the number of people, so we have some details in terms of how we're going to go about targeting, the general public, as well as companies and the variety of companies that we're looking at targeting as well. These research steps here, we're going to share with you in further fireside chats and going into depth on what we found out, for example, in the literature, and have you analyze and give us feedback too on our research model and survey design model. So these are further topics, fireside topics that we'd like to share with you over the course of this series. But that's the current status we're in. And right now we're in our data gathering phase of collecting industry feedback on these particular roles. So our survey is out there, it's live. Hopefully you've seen it, you responded to it. And if not, we want you to respond to it as well. We're gonna put this in the LinkedIn Live chat as well. So hopefully you can take the survey while you're watching this particular presentation of ours. All right, Shakeel, I'll turn it back over to you.
Sure, thanks, Charles. Okay, so how can you participate in this research project? We have a few ideas, and we would love to hear your feedback. If there are other thoughts, other suggestions to have your participation in this research project, that will be excellent. So starting from the first idea, we would love to see your inputs for these two roles. If you have done any Agile project, or if you have worked in any SAFe program, we would love to see your feedback, and we will request you to please take the survey. We're going to post the links in a minute. And in addition to taking the surveys, we are also asking or requesting you to introduce us to your company for the survey/assessment. So what we can do is we can have this survey specific to your company, and we can share the results. Of course, these results will be anonymous, and but the benefit that you can bring back to your company is the their ability to align the expectations from their Scrum Masters and from their release train engineers can increase by looking at the results and the findings of the research. And you will have early access to reports and results of the research that we're doing. You can actually use some of these findings for some other initiatives, and Charles can probably talk about that more in detail and in depth. Charles?
Yep. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Shakeel. So as Shakeel mentioned, this data is going to be published, and being the PhD students that we are, we're going to be writing papers and reports and doing analysis, quantitative and qualitative analysis on the data that we receive. So that insight is going to be shared with you, firsthand. I mean, you can get some first dibs on looking at that data, especially if you happen to be in a company and you're running a survey in your company. We could, come up with a report for you to look at for just your company's data. All right. So it's anonymous. So that's one thing, just to make sure the data is completely anonymous. And, there's no, nobody can be identified. And that's part of our research policies. And you'll see when you take the survey that it's gone through an IRB board, which means it's been approved for research, and it's safe to take it. No, we're not sharing any personal data. Also too, if you're interested and you're out there that you want to be kind of co-author or want to be a contributor to some industry publications, this might be a help for you as well. And we can help you with that, give insights to the data, kind of give, we can, I'm sure you could pull some pieces of information that we've already collected and already written up, and you could potentially use some of this in anything that you want to contribute to industry publications. Okay. Like Shakeel and I have already done, it's a good topic for conferences, that you could present some of this information at conferences on what you found in your company as being key contributors of effectiveness in these roles. And again, it could be any other further research beyond this particular topic that you want to take it to a different level, or collect any other data to supplement the findings that we found here. Again, it might be a good topic for any conferences that you might have. All right. Well, that's about it on that. But yeah, we love you to participate, and I think it's something good, and definitely will find value in it, either being an individual contributor or even for your company, my value out of this research. All right, Shakeel.
Absolutely. And as Charles said, based on the research, the questions that you will see in the survey and the assessments that we'll be coming up with, the findings that we'll be coming up with, we can share with you. And you may be interested in writing your opinion or your perspective on the same line of thoughts, that how you see or how you view from the industry side. So it's kind of a very interesting collaboration between the academics and industry, because both Charles and I come from the industry. So we have that inclination, a tendency to involve and engage our friends from the industry side, because we are from industry as well. So we're trying to find some sweet spot where this joint efforts can happen, and we can see some fruits out of that. So that's why we are offering kind of this collaboration or collaborative model where you can work with us, and we can, as a team, we can not only from the academic side, which probably will be Charles and I writing the paper, submitting to the academic journals. But in addition to that, focusing on or contributing towards the industry publications, and I think that can be very helpful and a kind of a win-win situation for both parties, us and you guys. So with that, let me share the links to the surveys. We are going to post these two links in the chat box. Maria is our facilitator today. She's going to post it in the Zoom chat box and also on the LinkedIn live event. So if you're watching us or if you're watching the recording, you can see these two links in the event blog. These two links can take you to the surveys that we have come up with. These are, as Charles said, are anonymous. These have been approved by the UNT review board. So there's no identification that is possible. So any information that you will submit will be completely secure and will be, the privacy will be there. So you don't have to worry about the privacy issue or anything of that nature. So that's pretty much it for the kind of the information that we wanted to share. And I'd like to kind of open up for any questions and answers from the group or the people who are watching. Maria, do you see any question on the board?
Before Miriam looks at that, just want to make one clarifying statement, Shakeel, about the survey links and how we asked you that you might be able to contribute. So if you are representing a company and you would like to run the survey as part of a company project or analysis, that what we do is we create specific surveys for your company, and that's how we identify your information separately. But still, for the general body of information, it's completely anonymous. And then even when we take a specific company's data, we anonymize that company's data in terms of our overall body of research, because we are pulling from many different companies and many different industries. And so that's kind of how we're segregating. There's a way, and we're going to talk more about this in other fireside chats, but how we segregated industries, companies, different lines of businesses, different roles of people who are taking the survey. So it's a very in-depth analysis on all the different aspects on how effectiveness is viewed with these two roles.
Okay, so Charles, let me ask you a couple of questions. For the RDE role, from the industry perspective, since you are also a practitioner, you come from industry, you've been doing consulting for a very long time, you're certified in a lot of agile methodologies. So how do you see RD's role in the industry?
So yeah, great question. Now more so than ever, a lot of companies are adopting the scaled agile framework, and RTE coming from that methodology, in particular the scaled agile framework. It's evolving. It's evolving, and more companies are becoming more mature. A lot of companies that I've worked with recently have been using SAFe now for multiple years, and so the RTE and the ways of working as a program has just matured since its beginnings. And so one thing that just like the Scrum Master, I'm asking you the same question, that usually people are really spread thin, and an RTE in a large program is just really trying to keep the train on the tracks by keeping the program running, and keeping, call it blocking and tackling, making sure a team has a backlog, making sure this dependency is managed. However, with that said, the RTE is also supposed to play the dual role of a program coach and coach the program in better adapting better agile practices. So I like to and so that's what I see as struggling, to be honest with you. And I think the research that we're doing is actually going to highlight that, on how valuable do companies view an RTE as being a coach in the organization. So with that said, I'd like to ask you the same question, Shakeel. We know from the core Scrum material that's like bullet number one. Scrum Master is a team coach. But what have you been seeing in the industry, and what do you think is going to come out of this research in terms of a Scrum Master being effective as a team coach?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question, Charles. Definitely, the Scrum Master role, I believe industry recognizes a very, very important role. And I see kind of a mixed bag when it comes to the implementation of this role in the industry. I see Scrum Masters that come from the project management background, have those kind of facilitation and collaboration and those soft skills heavily acquired from the PM kind of background in play in the at work in the industry. And in addition to that, I also see the technical leads, team leads, and technical leaders are also playing Scrum Master role in some of the projects and programs, which is very interesting. So I think what industry is trying to do is to capitalize on the some of the capable team leads and technical leads who have really good soft skills to also seek their help to do this scrumming of or be the Scrum Master of their teams. So I would say there are a couple of really important skills that a Scrum Master must have. For example, their ability to facilitate different Scrum ceremonies. And we know there are, Scrum sprint review, sprint backlog refinement, sprint planning, and sprint retro and daily stand-up. In addition to the facilitation, I see the leadership skills, basically showing a positive attitude. And then at the end of the day, if you ask me how to summarize Scrum Master's role, I would say Scrum Master is the one who removes obstacles that the development team is facing. So he or she drives to the finish line, right? Whichever kind of challenges and issues the team is facing, they are trying to take care of those obstacles, roadblocks to make sure the team is progressing every day. And they do have, and as you said, kind of team coach, they do have that team coach responsibility. They need to make sure that people on the team do understand the role and the responsibilities that they have from the Agile perspective, the team member, the developer, the QA, the product owner, and then any other stakeholder. So, and the Scrum Master should have a kind of a servant leadership mindset. It is very important for the Scrum Master to kind of be leading the service to the team to make sure the team is progressing. And that's how Scrum Master can do an excellent job for the role that he or she is expected to do. In addition to the facilitation and the leadership skills, they should have good communication skills because they are talking to the team, they're talking to the stakeholders, they are pursuing, negotiating, all those soft skills. Having good communication skills will greatly help them to become really excellent Scrum Masters. And of course, having some certifications and the strong background knowledge of the Lean Agile methodologies will greatly help. And I would also argue that Scrum Master having and I'm talking in the context of the technology-driven programs or projects. If they have technical background, that I have seen greatly helping the technical team because they can converse with each other using the same kind of wavelength, same terminologies and level of communication. So and coupled with the domain knowledge, I think these two backgrounds, domain knowledge and the technical background, can really help Scrum Master to become really an excellent resource at his or her company.
All right, excellent answer to that. So, and then just for me to kind of piggyback on what you just said, one of the first definitions of an RTE is the Scrum Master of the program, and pretty much everything that you said that applies at the team level, we say kind of applies as well at the program level, which is across multiple teams for a release training engineer. So yeah, and so please join us, and we're going to end our session now, but we definitely look forward to having some discussion. So if you didn't catch us live, you might catch our recording of this, and we're going to have this, it's going to be scheduled usually on a bi-weekly basis, just so you can keep tab. We're going to keep tabs with you on going in depth into what we just discussed. So again, next coming up is we're going to talk about the literature that we analyze, and then our research model, and then our research design and process. And again, along the way, we hope to hear back from you in any way. Engage with us either through LinkedIn. You have the links for our survey, so please spread that around. And also too, maybe reach out with us if you want to be a part of this at your company or in any other capacity that you see fit. So with that said, I'd like to say farewell for today. It was a nice discussion. Thanks, Shakeel, for your nice talk. Thank you. And we will.
Thank you so much, Al.
Yep. And then we'll see you guys next time. Have a great afternoon. Have a great day.